Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Blake, and today I'm going to show you my setup. So I figured out how to put together this modular mobile art kit so that I can paint whenever the mood strikes. And this has made me a much better painter. I will explain to you why. And at the end, I will take you on a tour of some of the abstract art pieces that I have created using this kit. So I have a studio down in the basement, but there's a few things about the studio that I don't love. One of those things is that it's cold and it's kind of dark. So when I go down there, I have to warm it up, and I also have to turn on all the lights, and I just have to prep it. I also have to change into my painting clothes, and it's just a little bit more of a commitment. And because of that, what I noticed is that I was coming up here with a sketchbook and a few art supplies, and I was knocking out a few paintings before my day started. I was doing it a lot because it was so convenient and so comfortable. And because of that, I noticed I was getting better, and I was getting better really fast. And so I decided to bring up some more art supplies and some more art supplies, and it started to get a little messy here. Obviously, I can't keep out art supplies here at my kitchen counter. It's a communal space. It just looks messy. So what I did is I put together this kit. So this is a rolling cart that I got from Target. And it's got 3 shelves. You put this together yourself, so you can put the shelf wherever you want. And on this second shelf here, I have this bin that I can pull out. And this bin holds lots of other bins, like a Russian doll. So first of all, I have these 2 thin guys that fit in here, and I hold my water cup in there. And then this is where all my stencils are. I keep my stencils in here. This one has the paper towels. These are shop towels, and I like these better than the regular paper towels because they don't have that pattern in them, so it doesn't leave like a mark on your painting, and it also, they're way more absorbent. So in here I keep all of my collage supplies, and this is just a small variety of collage supplies that I have. I have a lot more downstairs in a bigger bin. This is my paper palette pad that I use to mix my paints on. And then inside of this, I have this bin. And in this bin, I keep my paints. So this one has my favorite paints, and it's just the real basic colors. I don't usually buy a lot of other colors than the basics because I like to mix my own. So I keep that in this one, and then I can just set it out here when I'm painting. And then I have another bin of other weird paints. I mean, I guess if you call burnt sienna weird, or I also keep sort of this quinacridone magenta, which helps me get some bright pinks. I can maybe do an episode on mixing colors at some point. That would be fun. I also have a tube of cheap white paint because I go through a lot of white. This is an office container for pens, and I keep my chopstick tool in here and my sharp scrapey tool. This is a pottery tool. I have this guy, and I have my nail files, which are good for scraping. I also keep a bunch of pencils in here. My Derwent Inktense pencils, my favorite colors like the black and the indigo, and I also have a graphite pencil and just a few, and a charcoal pencil. And looks like I have a Posca, a little thin Posca black pen. Now in this one, I keep chalks in this little container, and these are my favorite colored chalks. I have a lot of chalks downstairs in the studio, but this is just a small section, this is just a small selection of the ones that I like. And then in here, I have my water-soluble crayons. And these are my portfolio ones. These melted in the sun when I was at a friend's house. We went outside to paint and I left them out there. Oops, don't do that. And then I have these Neocolor, the Caran d'Ache Aquarelle water-soluble crayons. So that goes in there. This is small but mighty. I use these things a lot. This is my glue stick and a pencil sharpener and another pencil sharpener, which has different sizes. And then of course my Degas fixative to go container. This, when you buy it, comes in a much bigger container. But I really like this size. It's just nice to refill it when I'm done. And then a little tiny cute water sprayer. And a little card that I use for scraping. So these fit really nicely back in here. Just gonna throw them back in. These are from Target, and I think they're called Bright Room. So I guess people were needing stackable modular storage. This goes like that. And these go like this. Look how perfect. Next, I keep my brushes. These are just a variety of my favorite brushes. I have more brushes down in the studio, but I keep my my mop brush up here. My favorite calligraphy brush that I just like to smash around. Just some really cheap brushes that I got for like 50 cents. Fan brush. And then this is also from Target. It's an office supply rotating thingamabobber. And in here I keep my markers. So I keep my Crink pens and a variety of other markers. Just a few colors that I like, usually neutrals or like primaries. And I have a roll of tape. And looks like I have some masking fluid and for some reason a hole punch. I also have some fat Posca pens. I have a white one and another white cream colored one. And then I have these Sennelier 3D, they're like 3D liners they're called, and they're really skinny acrylic paint that you can squirt out of here. And that's nice because I can just sort of like set it here on the counter. Obviously, I have a little bit bigger space than most counters, but I use a lot of the space for my camera gear. So when I'm shooting, I will have that off to the side and then try to fit everything in this little area here. Now for my sketchbooks, here's another bin, and this bin is the perfect size for all of these sketchbooks. They hold a lot of sketchbooks, and they have the nice little handles on the side. So I like to rotate through sketchbooks. I like to paint with at least five sketchbooks at a time rotating. So it's really nice to be able to just come in here and pull out my books and paint in them. And then when I'm done, I just throw them back in here and put them in this little slot right here. I also have, if I don't want to use a sketchbook, I also have these pads of paper. So I have this Grumbacher mixed media pad and a Fabriano watercolor pad and the Arches Aquarelle watercolor pad. So I can just pull a sheet off if I want to work in a little bit bigger format. So when I'm done and I'm ready to clean up, I just throw everything back into its spot. I put it in the bins, tuck it in the cart, like so. And then I can just roll it off and keep it back in the utility room or around a corner so nobody can see it, or just tuck it away somewhere. Over the few months that I've been doing this art at my kitchen counter, I've collected quite a few books, and I'm going to take you through some of the pages. I won't show you everything, but I've selected a few pieces that I like. And this is a Hanamool notebook. You can tell because it's got the little rooster on it. And so this is using mixed media, and it looks like some crayon. I used a bit of white paper as a collage and some stencil here. I was trying to get a little simpler with this one. And of course, none of these are perfect. These are meant for me learning and playing. And I post these on Instagram as well, most of them. This one's meant to go the long way, but I was working on sort of a landscape piece. This one goes this way. And it looks like I still have some paper left in here. Here's another Hanamool. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. Okay, so I've got this one. I think I did this one for an episode. But I've got my stencil and you can see the fan brush in there. A little more freeform. I have to say, I've gotten so much better painting doing this kind of thing every day. It really takes the pressure off when you're creating art in a sketchbook just for yourself. And I would say my learning has grown exponentially by doing this. This one has a little tape on it for fun. And looks like I have a bunch more paper left in here. And sometimes I'll start a piece and leave it for the next day and just work on it later. Or I'll just use some of the leftover paint that I have. This is a Canson, just kind of cheapo book, but I like this paper because I think it's a mixed media paper and it's nice and thick. So I'm just having fun. Now, and I'm showing you this one as opposed to this one because this has really good contrast and it really stands out as compared to this one, which sort of melds together. I think there's some interesting stuff going on, and I can always look back at this and say, oh, I really like the way that turquoise crayon looks against the orange ladder and repeat it. This one also has a nice bit of contrast. You can see the Crink hot pink pen there. I like that olive green and that peach color together. This is just a fairly cheap one, but what I do is I'll take the pieces of art that I've created on bigger pieces of paper, and I will collage them together into smaller pieces and then paste them with a glue stick into this book. And I think they're just nice pieces of art on their own. I did these a few years ago. I think doing this helps you go back and see what you like, and you can repeat things, or it just sort of sinks in to your subconscious. But I'm cutting pieces out and I'm cutting it back together. I'm cutting pieces out and then I'm collaging them back together, and I think it looks really nice in this book with the white page against it. These are just some little scrap pieces that I liked. Really great contrast right there. That was sort of an accident. This one's fun because it's an irregular shape and it's just not a perfect square. It's two little tiny ones. I like the brushwork in it. A little more subtle piece right here, but I think this would make a nice larger piece. Something with this color palette. It's fun to go back and look at these. They have just a nice feel to them. They have lots of layers and texture. This is probably one of my favorite pieces in here, and I think it's because I love the color palette. That is all.